We've waited a long time for football to return, and what better place to do it than Dublin, Ireland. Beautiful scenes as we get set for a renewed annual rivalry, the third time that we'll see Notre Dame and Navy play here in Dublin from Aviva Stadium. College football officially back in Dublin.
Today it begins. In the last days of summer on a green island an ocean away. Today, college football is reborn in Ireland. 7 months have passed since the last game, when a champion was crowned on a winter's night.
Perfection wears red and black tonight.
7 months without the passion, without the euphoria, without the heartbreak. Now the wait is over. Every team is undefeated. Every dream is alive. Every moment is magic in waiting.
Oh, the man is out on the field! I don't believe it! Oh. It's a touchdown! An answered prayer!
It all starts with Notre Dame and Navy in Dublin. A century-old rivalry renewed in a place of ancient games. It is both the beginning of the season and a new era for both teams. The Fighting Irish with a second-year head coach and an experienced first-year quarterback. The Midshipmen with their first new coach in 16 years. One will be the first winner of the new season. College football's journey begins today. Welcome back.
Feels like any college football Saturday. The only difference, we're 3,000 miles away from the United States. Notre Dame lining the streets. They've renamed Dame Street here in Dublin to Notre Dame Street for the day. And Navy fans trying to do their best to thwart any of that momentum. Both fan bases have been electric all week here in Dublin as Notre Dame and Navy renew their rivalry once again here at Aviva Stadium. Teams have been ready, fans have been waiting 7+ months. And here we are, the college football season is officially set to begin. We welcome you to Aviva Stadium. Noah Eagle, our coach Jason Garrett, Zora Stevenson, and Terry McCauley, our rules analyst, with us as well. Glad to have you along for the ride. A ride that begins in Dublin, a city that we've really taken a big liking to. First time for both of us. We've gotten a chance to feel that energy. It's been palpable, walking the streets, feeling the fans. It's been really special for us to experience.
Yeah, no doubt. But before we get to that, hey, I want to welcome you to the NBC family. It's great to be here with you and really appreciate you stepping in and pinch hitting for our buddy Jack Collinsworth, who's back in the States. He's under the weather. Jack, hope you're feeling well, buddy, and look forward to seeing you soon. But talking about Dublin, we've had an amazing week here. And you think about it, the Fighting Irish and Notre Dame come back to their homeland to play Navy. This place has been up for grabs all week long. The pubs are overflowing. The Guinness and the Jameson is flowing. And a lot of people are excited about this game, Notre Dame and Navy, and the start of this college football season.
Rightfully so. There's so many storylines that go into a college football offseason. You think about around the country, fan bases have reasons for excitement. But Notre Dame's at the top of that list. They believe this is a team that can take them to a college football playoff berth. And a big reason why, year 2 under Marcus Freeman, he's taken a big leap he feels in his coaching. And one of the main things he wanted to address, get a marquee quarterback, and he did it.
He sure did. Sam Hartman was the best quarterback available in the transfer portal. And Notre Dame loved him, and they went out and aggressively got him, and it's easy to see why. This guy's the most prolific passer in ACC history. He really put Wake Forest football on the map here the last few years, and he's a veteran with a lot of experience. We've talked to him a lot recently. He's 24 years old. It's like you're talking to an NFL quarterback. He has confidence, he has command, he has a presence and an energy about him this team has gravitated towards. He hasn't been here long, and they made him the captain already. One interesting thing to see, one of the things he was drawn to about Notre Dame is the chance to play in an NFL-style system. At Wake Forest, it was an RPO system. At Notre Dame, he's going to be under center. He's going to be reading the whole field. It's going to be a good challenge to see him make that transition, especially against this defense. Brian Newberry, he brings people from all over the place. It's blitz, and more blitz coming off the bus. It'll be a good challenge for Notre Dame.
You mentioned Brian Newberry, first year as the head coach after taking over for the winningest coach in Navy history, Ken Niumatalolo, and fantastic opportunity in game 1 here.
Yeah, no doubt. Brian Newberry has been at Navy for the last 4 years, so he understands the culture, and he understands how to level the playing field against more talented teams. the way he's going to do that on offense, because they're going to continue to run the triple option, but maybe with some variation, maybe with some wrinkles. On defense, like we talked about, it's blitz, blitz, and more blitz. Notre Dame better be ready. They dominated Notre Dame in the second half of last year's game. And on special teams, don't be surprised to see a gadget or some kind of a fake to try to steal a possession.
Coach is calling his shot. 154th college football season. Debut for Newberry, debut for Sam Hartman, debut for this 2023 season. And what a spectacular year ahead. It all begins right here at Aviva Stadium in Dublin. The teams are ready to go, as we are as well. And most importantly, here come the Irish. And here come the Navy Midshipmen. '96th meeting between these two teams, third here in Dublin. You can feel the electricity in this stadium. And for more, we go down to Zora on the sideline.
Welcome back, Coach. What's different about the start of this season compared to a year ago?
Well, I think the experience for some of us, including the head coach, I think this team, man, has truly had a full year, man, to come together and become a true brotherhood. And we're excited to get kicked off here.
Sam Hartman now leads the charge offensively for you all. How much has he met your expectations?
He's exceeded everything I thought. He's been an unbelievable leader, unbelievable teammate, and I'm really happy for him to go out here and compete today.
We're in Ireland. It's raining, but this is still awesome. What's the significance of starting the season across the pond?
Well, it shows the global true impact that Notre Dame has. And so to see these fans here in Dublin, Ireland, to be a part of this great country and this great city is really exciting.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
All right, Zora, thanks so much. Marcus Freeman in year two after a fairly successful year one with 9 wins in his first campaign. The total record at Notre Dame for most wins through 2 seasons is 19, very much in reach with his team. Fans have traveled all the way from the U.S. to make it here. Notre Dame has 30,000+. Navy, about 8,000 of their fans making their way to Dublin. And this place holding just under 60,000 total. For Brian Newberry's first game as head coach, last 4 seasons as a defensive coordinator, leading a very successful defense for the Midshipmen last year, second in run defense in Newberry. He brings this aggressive style, and his players have felt like they've played and practiced with a different swagger as a result.
No doubt. I think the best thing that Brian Newberry brings is continuity, but then an opportunity to make some changes as well. And you said it. He's aggressive on the defensive side of the ball, and he wants to be aggressive throughout his football team, and his team has responded well to him so far.
We were wondering what the weather would look like here in Ireland. It's been on and off rain the last couple of days, and that has included today. Rainy or cloudy, it's been on and off as mentioned, and that rain has been quick when it has come up. About 10-mile-an-hour winds, which isn't terrible, all things considered. There were talks maybe of 30 or 40 miles per hour the last couple of days, so that's been a high possibility. And here come both teams raring up for what should be a fantastic start to this season. Navy won the toss, elected to defer, so Notre Dame will get the football to start. Evan Warren is going to send it deep for the Midshipmen. It is Payne and Ford back to receive it for Notre Dame. The Irish 13th in the country, and the Midshipmen looking to shock the world to start the season. We're underway. The 2023 college football season begins in Dublin, and it'll be Payne to bring it out just in front of the goal line. Looking for a seam. He's dumped before the 20. As he stumbles forward, they'll mark him down at the 20. And that's where Sam Hartman will begin his Notre Dame career, from the 20-yard line. And the new Irish quarterback, just the second transfer to become a captain, joining Alohi Gilman, 24 years old. So much experience, but he's a gamer. And we see he's a winner. The records and the numbers speak for themselves. It's what he brings in the intangibles to this program that'll make the difference.
Yeah, an incredibly productive quarterback at Wake Forest, so we're going to see that on the field. But the presence that he brings, the leadership he brings, is really being felt throughout this football team. And here we go on play one. He's under center. Hasn't done a lot of this in his college football career.
It'll be a handoff to Estime, the everything back for this team. He slips a tackle across the 25 and gains 10 on first down. What a luxury it is for Hartman to have a back like Estime, 5'11 and a half, 227. Out of St. Joseph's, last year ran for nearly 1,000 yards. A big body who can do a whole lot in between the tackles.
Yeah, Notre Dame lines up in a bunch formation. They bring their tight end and their receiver back to lead Estime up through the hole. And when number 7 gets those shoulders square downhill, it's trouble for the defense.
Sets up a fresh set of downs. Something Notre Dame's looking to do all day is establish that run, especially up the middle. First pass of the Notre Dame career of Sam Hartman is a beauty. Right in the bucket to Thomas for another first down near midfield.
Jaden Thomas aligned to the field here. He just runs a 12-yard square route, runs up and runs out. Sam Hartman puts it out in front of him. The protection's clean. Hartman's on time and on the money. Off to a good start.
19-yard connection. First down after Merriweather went in motion. Estime is stood up at the goal line. So Hartman, the captain, certainly leading this offense. But let's take a look at today's honor roll. Coach, who's at the top of the class?
It starts up front with Notre Dame. The left tackle, Joe Alt's as good as anybody in the country. And they've already handed it to him twice. Audric Estime, 230 pounds of power back. Fantastic last year. You're going to see a lot of him this year. Ramos, who played against Estime in college, and Busick up front. They're charged with slowing down the big guy.
You can feel the poise of Hartman. And, there's a drop. Tobias Merriweather is expected to take a big step forward in his sophomore campaign after just one catch as a freshman. That one a miscue, brings up 3rd and 10.
And here we go, 3rd and 10. This is what Navy absolutely loves to do. Brian Newberry, a lot of pressure. He and his defensive coordinator, P.J. Volker. It's heat, and more heat. They love a 3rd and 10 situation. Look for them to shift and stem the front and then bring pressure. It's what they did a lot last year against Notre Dame. At least they'll show it. They'll show it and bring it, or show it and drop out. We'll see what their attack is here early on.
Freshman Jaden Greathouse has been in there this drive. We'll see if they can get it to him. Instead, hand it off to Estime. See if he can get it himself. Yes, he can. Dives across that first down marker. Big pickup into Navy territory, down to the 40.
Absolutely love the call by offensive coordinator Jared Parker. 3rd and 10. You don't expect this to be a run situation. It's just Estime up inside. They want to pressure on the edges. We're going to run it up inside in the middle of the defense. This Notre Dame offensive line bigger and stronger than the Navy defensive line. If they get up on them, there's going to be lanes to run in, even in a 3rd and long situation. Love the call by Parker.
And on that tackle, Estime, it's like a slip and slide on the field. Just goes forward an extra couple yards. This will be Payne on the carry as he stumbles forward and gets just to the 36.
No, we've talked a lot about Navy's pressure, and one of the ways you slow this pressure down is you run the ball, and you run the ball at it. We've seen Estime 3 times. Now we see Payne. It quiets the defense down if you can control the line of scrimmage by running the ball at him. It's a good early plan by Parker in this Notre Dame offense.
We've heard all about Sam Hartman's leadership coming into this game. You can already feel just the poise that this offense is playing with as Payne has another handoff, just goes over that line of scrimmage and comes 1 yard shy of the first down. For Hartman, that was the one thing that stood out to Marcus Freeman when we asked him about him. He said he set a new standard for both leadership and work ethic, and everybody else has followed.
Yeah, when your best players, your most veteran players, are your hardest workers, everybody follows. So you got young quarterbacks, you got young players all throughout this team. They see this number 10 in the building first and leaving last. It sets a great example for everybody in the program. And you can see this guy's played a lot of football, very comfortable so far.
Merriweather in motion on 3rd and short. They're going to hand it right back to Estime, who got the last 3rd down. He's going to get another first down as a flag does come in after the tackle into the secondary. So our first flag of the day. And Luke Richmond, our referee, will give us the eventual call.
Holding. Offense. Number 88. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's Mitchell Evans, who is taking over that starting slot for the All-American Michael Mayer off to the NFL.
Right. You see Mitchell Evans right there. Whenever you get on the perimeter and you get your hands outside and you see that cloth get pulled like that, the officials are going to call it every time. So he gets that left hand outside the shoulder pad and he doesn't let it go. Notre Dame's going to count on Evans, obviously with the departure of Michael Mayer last year.
Navy showing blitz on what is now a 3rd and 12. Play clock down to 3. Hartman flagged down immediately as he dumps it to Estime with a lot of room to run. Estime turns on the burners and he is tripped up just shy of the 20. This one could be coming back as well. That quick flag came in at the 42.
I think it's going to be offsides on the defense. This was one of those plays we saw in practice all week long.
Offside. Defense. Number 33. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Jordan Sanders, the one who's called on the offside infraction.
It sure was. And no, you got to have your blitz beaters, and this is one of them. This is Estime. Pretend like you're going to block the pressure coming off the edge and slip them. Hartman manages the pressure, throws it around. The oncoming rusher gets it to Estime. Notre Dame rolling again.
Payne on the give. And he'll just push the pile all the way to the 15. Notre Dame operating in the red zone for the first time. And that was what they did so well in the first half last year against Navy, was pick up those blitzes, scored on their first 5 possessions, all of them touchdowns. And it felt like every time Navy showed, they were picking them apart with ease.
No doubt. In the second half, it was a completely different story. So, hey, watch the first half film, and let's try to replicate that. Forget about what happened in the second half and learn from it. And again, having a lot of blitz answers, certainly something they want to come into this game with. Love that one on 3rd and 12 to pick that one up. The sneaky throw to Estime.
Hartman back to the air. Lofts one for Colsey. He's got it. Gets right underneath it. Sets up 1st and goal.
One of the things you like to see so far from Sam Hartman is oftentimes the corner to the wide side of the field plays off. And Sam Hartman sees that. You saw the throw to Thomas earlier. This is Colsey. Just keep throwing these out routes. If they're going to give them to us, we're going to take them. Sam wants to deliver that ball where Colsey can catch it on the move and maybe get a little run after catch. But again, the Irish are moving. They're inside the 10.
1st and goal under center. Estime back in there. He's got it. Estime up the gut. And he'll be down to the 1. With that last completion, Sam Hartman now with over 13,000 career passing yards, 18th quarterback in NCAA history.
And he's never had a back like Audric Estime. They're just running right up behind him. And watch these guys up front in the blue shirt just knock him off the ball. The double team at the point of attack. Good job by Mitchell Evans coming back after the holding penalty, creating some movement. The receivers are blocking. And it's a real image to see 7 with those squared shoulders coming downhill. He's tough to stop.
Estime, he's got it. Touchdown, Notre Dame. Plays right down the field, 81 yards, and it leads to the Estime scamper for 1 yard out.
Noah, how do you quiet the pressure? Run it at him. Keep giving it to the big guy. This is Estime one more time. Notre Dame loves pulling people east and west and then handing it to number 7 going north and south. Great movement up front. 230 pounds coming right at you. No chance.
Second straight year Notre Dame's got a transfer kicker. Spencer Schrader coming over from USF for the extra point. And Schrader puts it through. Can't ask for a much better start if you're a Notre Dame fan. The Sam Hartman era is officially here, and he leads his team right down the field. It's Audric Estime, the Super Junior, getting in there to give Notre Dame a 7-0 lead early. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. And by Aer Lingus. Fly from 16 North American cities with Aer Lingus. Previous 2 meetings here in Dublin between these 2 teams. Last one at Aviva Stadium was 2012. Notre Dame, of course, that magical season, the run all the way to the college football national championship game that season with Manti Te'o finishing runner-up as the Heisman. Last year in the opener against Ohio State, Audric Estime had 21 yards on the ground. He had 22 in that first drive. His new quarterback, Sam Hartman, nearly perfect, 3 of 4 for 48. And 7 points on the board as Navy will take this one with a touchback in the end zone from Tyler Bradley, and that'll bring out this potentially new-look Navy offense. We've heard a lot about the differences we might see from the triple option that Ken Niumatalolo ran for 15 years and had extreme success with. But now, with Brian Newberry at the helm as the head coach, he's got an experienced quarterback in Tai Lavatai returning from a torn ACL, and he feels right now that's the man to lead this group. Torn against Temple just before that Notre Dame game. It was Xavier Arline, who also plays lacrosse, who started that game. And right off the bat, we'll start with this triple option. Early handoff, and that was the man that tore up the Notre Dame defense a year ago. Daba Fofana, the fullback, who packs a punch at just 5'8", but 205.
And Navy's on the ball. Navy's going to use some tempo here, so there's still going to be a triple option team, but the implementation of the plays is going to be different. You're going to see different tempos. You're going to see different formations. You're going to see different motions, all designed to level this playing field and put some pressure on this Notre Dame defense.
Going with a 2 fullback look here. Instead, they pitch it right back to Fofana, and he's got a lot of space. Fofana around the edge, finally forced out of bounds near midfield. Jack Kaiser catches up to him, but a big gain and a first down for Daba Fofana on the ground.
Again, a different formation. Receivers over here, halfback out here. They still run the option. It's the same concept. It feels the same to Lavatai. Once the ball hits his hand, it looks completely different to Notre Dame. Love the plan by Grant Chestnut, the Navy offensive coordinator. They too are off to a good start.
Fresh set of downs now for Lavatai. Hands it right back to Fofana, and he is just tearing up this Notre Dame defense for the 2nd consecutive year. Last year in this matchup, 133 yards and a touchdown, 11 more on that carry, and another first down for Navy.
Every defensive coach in the country will tell you, stopping the triple option starts with stopping the fullback. Fofana was big last year for Navy. He's big again early on in this ball game. If you don't stop the quarterback, the triple option. If you don't stop the fullback, the triple option is going to kill you.
Right back to it. 3 plays later, already in Notre Dame territory. This time the Irish sniff it out. Fofana had no running room. Great penetration from Jordan Potello as he came in like a bullet and made sure Fofana had no room to work with. Navy run inside the tackles. That's what they do as well as anybody in the country. Last season against Notre Dame, just excel in that category. 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, nearly 9 yards a carry inside the tackles. That's something that defensive coordinator Al Golden is really going to have to shore up if Notre Dame wants to dominate this game. They believe the way they're capable of. 2nd and long now. Lavatai orchestrating this offense as he's done for years. This time it's Teska, and he'll dive forward across the 40 to set up 3rd and manageable.
Certainly a 4-down territory here for Navy, but again, it's tempo, it's formation use, but they're still using the same triple option principles. They're presenting it a different way, and we talked about how important the fullback is to the triple option. They dominated Notre Dame last year. It's been a point of emphasis for the Irish. Fits and starts so far for this Notre Dame defense, slowing down that play up the middle. Here's the shifting and the movement. The tackle comes over.
More motion. It's Fofana around the end. Looking to get it on the 3rd and 5. Is going to be stopped. Make it Brandon Chapman who came around. Gains just 3, needed 5. It's 4th and short. And as Jason mentioned, in all likelihood, 4-down territory.
Watch J.D. Bertrand in the middle of your screen. Did not play in this game against Navy last year. The veteran, the senior linebacker. He's got great vision. He runs through the hole behind the runner and chases it down and makes the play. Big 4th down here.
Notre Dame, over 30,000 fans in this stadium.
It's electric.
4th and 4. Throw for the first time. Malachi on the run. Incomplete. There were 2 in the area. Kamari Williams looked like he got underneath it. And Lavatai put it perfectly between him and Amin Hassan. And a turnover on downs for the Notre Dame defense.
Again, a variety of looks by this Navy offense on 4th down. They go naked to the left. They have an opportunity. Lavatai a little far. The Irish get another chance.
We always watch the games at Kennedy's, centrally located in Dublin, right next to Trinity College.
Everyone here who has a Notre Dame connection tries to bring that energy back into Kennedy's.
Living in Dublin, it's hard to get back to South Bend for games. To have the opportunity to see our favorite team play in this amazing city, it's just really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Notre Dame Club of Ireland gathers there at Kennedy's Pub, and if you're a fan of the Irish, that's where you go. You watch your games. Just the global impact of this Notre Dame brand. It stretches so far around the world. Marcus Freeman talked about it before the game. You can feel it in this stadium. They brought more than 30,000 fans. Expected economic impact of this game alone, Coach, $159 million American dollars just from this week.
Wow. I know where a lot of it was spent. In a couple of those pubs. Like we said before, the Guinness was flowing and people were having a heck of a time.
So second drive now for Sam Hartman in this Notre Dame offense. Hartman 3 of 4, 48 yards on that first drive. It was Estime who scored on a 1-yard rush. And we'll see what offensive coordinator, first year in that role, Jared Parker, has in store for drive number 2. Estime starts, and Estime just continues to chew up yards and then some. Loses the football. It's out of bounds. Notre Dame breathes a sigh of relief, but there's that weather coming into a little bit of form. Rayon Lane slapped it loose, and Estime catches a break across the 50.
Notre Dame's plan is pretty obvious. Hand the ball to that guy. Audric Estime behind this big offensive line. They believe they have mismatches up front. They want to come off the ball, hit him in the mouth. A gaping hole. Look at Estime's balance. Agility to spin out of that thing. Had a little bit of a fumbling problem last year, rearing its ugly head early on in this season. Like it went out of bounds.
Hartman right back to the air, another completion. This one's going to go to Chris Tyree, who was a running back the last couple of years, has shifted over to slot receiver, and the coaching staff has been pleased with how quickly he's picked it up. That time, gains 9.
Yeah, Tyree was part of that 3-headed monster last year with Estime and Tyree and Logan Diggs. Logan Diggs now at LSU. Tyree moves to the slot receiver. They've really been pleased with his transition. He's just a good football player. He's got a feel. You saw it right there. Softness in the zone. Give me the ball. Get north and south.
And just the career receptions. He leads all Notre Dame receivers. He's been a running back until this year. And that's a big question mark coming into the season. Who will step up in that room as Payne carries it right up the middle, drags the pile near the 30, down to the 32 as we go down to Zora Stevenson.
Since the transition to receiver, Chris Tyree has tried to be just a sponge. He went to Houston this summer to work with a private coach. He spent time before and after workouts catching nearly 20,000 passes off an automated machine. The skills he's been trying to improve on are foot placement, getting in and out of breaks and releases. A lot of parts of the position are new to him because of, his running back experience, but the mentality after the catch is familiar and routine.
It's great stuff, Zora. It's going to be fascinating to see how he continues to develop, not just the start of the season, but obviously as the season goes on. Play action for Hartman, looking for the end zone. He's got a man, and Merriweather couldn't bring it in. flag does come down. With the sun peering out, Hardman took his shot, and it looks like it'll pay off. It was Rayon Lane deep in coverage, working with Merriweather, who physically has all the tools to be a star. 6'4", 204, the sophomore from Washington.
There is no foul for defensive pass interference. It's second down.
That's a throw that Sam Hartman's going to want to have back. When you run the ball like they do, the play action comes alive, and he has Tobias Merriweather early. And you saw Hartman take that second little hitch step. He looks at it again, and cuts the ball loose. He starts to run out of space. Gives Rayon Lane a chance to close. And an excellent play by Lane. Maybe a little contact early. Timed it pretty well. Missed opportunity for Notre Dame.
So a 2nd and 10. They put the running back Jadarian Price in motion. Hartman back to the air. A bullet over the middle, complete. Another one to his tally. This time goes to Matt Salerno as he picks up 9. Sets up 3rd and short.
There's the pressure right down the pipe on Sam Hartman. He has the vision. He understands he's getting heated up, knows where Salerno is, and just snaps the ball out of there. Really impressed that he doesn't need a lot of space to throw the ball. He's a very natural passer. He's played a lot of football in his career. And he feels like a really good shortstop or a second baseman getting the ball out of his hands, which is how this game has evolved in a lot of ways. Good look at it right there.
And now it looks like Payne's going to take the direct snap on 3rd down and 1. He's had success running the ball so far. It is Payne right up the middle. Bounces off the first, keeps the legs churning. He's got the 1st down. Down to the 20. And the new rule this year, the clock does not stop on 1st downs. That's why this 1st quarter seems like it's gone by in a blink, not the fact that Notre Dame has also taken so much of the possession.
Hey, it's Wildcat. There's Sam Hartman. Lined up at receiver on the outside. Jabron Payne lined up at running back. He takes the direct snap. One more time, you see pullers by Notre Dame and the runner going north and south right into the teeth of the Navy defense for a 1st down.
So 1st and 10, Jadarian Price back in there. And he's got the handoff. Price finds the hole, and he's gone! Touchdown, Irish! Big-time blocks from Coogan and Sorrell. And here we go, Notre Dame up 2 scores.
It's a downhill running game. It's right here, right to the teeth of the defense. Double teams at the point of attack. You got Estime, you got Payne, and now it's Jadarian Price. He gets his opportunity. 3 backs like that. The 3-headed monster is back. Look at the shoulder square. Look at the big offensive line of Notre Dame. Just manhandle that Navy defensive front. The game plan is simple. They're executing it really well. They're running the ball right down Navy's throat.
Schrader back on, and he makes it 14-0. 7 plays, 63 yards after the 3 and out and the 4th down stop. 3 minutes and 27 seconds later, 19 yards out. Jadarian Price gets right through the defense for 6 more, and the Irish are rolling early.
We love our.
Next Saturday, the Irish return home to South Bend to take on Eddie George's Tennessee State Tigers. Coverage begins with College Countdown at 3 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. Notre Dame ready for what should be a highly successful season with that man as quarterback. That was at practice the other day. That's a shillelagh. That's a historic weapon, if you will. I don't even really know exactly what you call it, but it's an Irish weapon from many years ago, and he looked like Thor the way that he put it towards the sky, right, Coach?
He sure did. You know, it wasn't guns and knives, it was shillelaghs.
Yeah.
And he just beat the heck out of the people they were going against. Speaking of that, you know, one of the challenges that Navy presents is they like to move their line on defense. It's hard for this offensive line to identify where they need to go. To excellent job by Alt and by Mitchell Evans, taking the double team after the line moves, creating removal on that defensive line, and giving Jadarius Price a chance to run that football. right down this Navy midshipman's throat.
Look, Coach, obviously Navy decided to defer to start this game, but offensively they were moving the ball towards the end of that drive. It stalls, and they can't connect on that pass play on 4th and short. But 37 rushing yards, and this is why. Another pitch out to Chapman, and he gains another chunk play, about 6.5 on the ground. This is what they do. They can set everything up, and with new offensive coordinator Grant Chestnut coming over from Kennesaw State in his first season now, along with the new head coach Brian Newberry. They had known each other with their days at Kennesaw State. He's at the bottom of your screen, and Chestnut says that there are going to be new wrinkles for sure, but they're probably a year away from that. The triple option is still working right now.
There's no doubt it is. It's a great equalizer in college football, and the biggest reason is Notre Dame only sees it once a year against Navy, so it's hard for them to prepare for it. It's different. And so Navy can use that to their advantage. And one of the things they're trying to do is continue to create some wrinkles within this triple option scheme. Use different formations, use different movements, but then maintain that advantage by continuing to run it. We've seen some success early on here. There's no doubt Notre Dame is getting ready for that inside run. They've handled it well here the last few snaps.
First quarter in the books. Navy last year allowed 89 rush yards per game. Notre Dame 88 through one quarter, and they lead by 2 scores. Estime got in to start it out, and then the Irish go right back down the field and let Price get all the way to Pater. This look from above is brought to you by Walmart Plus. Well, 14-0 after one quarter here in Dublin, and Notre Dame really doing whatever they want offensively. You would expect in the first game of the Sam Hartman era we'd see a lot of passing. Hasn't necessarily been the case. They've got 154 yards of offense, 88 coming on the ground.
Yeah, no doubt, and this is the game Notre Dame wants to play. Audric Estime, Jabron Payne, Jadarian Price. Time and time again, this Notre Dame offensive line coming off the ball, controlling the line of scrimmage, making Sam Hartman's environment really, really comfortable. So they're playing the game they want to play. Navy just has to hang in there. Remember last year, Notre Dame dominated in the first half, and they came back and made it really close at the end of the ball game. There's a lot of football to be played.
It was 35-13 at the half. Notre Dame scored on their first 5 possessions. Navy believed that they could have won that game. They just felt they played their A football a little too late. The fake handoff, the keep up the gut, and just a yard shy as Ty Lavatai will stumble forward. They're going to give them the first down. So moves the chains, and Navy will keep this possession alive.
Riley Mills penetrating inside, but Lavatai, strength and leg drive. And Navy gets a favorable spot. Looks like they might challenge this thing.
I got the line to get. This play is under further review.
Everything can be triggered as reviewable from upstairs in college football. They're going to take another look at this. Marcus Freeman curious on the result when we come back. Upon further review, Ty Lavatai thought he had the first down on the keeper on the option. Instead, he goes up the middle. They say he's a yard shy.
Yeah, and it's a healthy yard, but like we were talking, how many times you come to Ireland to play Notre Dame? Like what Brian Newberry's doing here. He's not laying up. He's trying to drive the green. He's going to give you guys a chance to maintain this possession.
Second time on 4th and 1. Lavatai is going to keep it this time, and it looks like that second effort across the line gets him the first down. So the first time on 4th down, Lavatai threw it and put it in the right spot in between 2 of his own teammates. This time he says, I'll do it myself, and moves the chains.
It's just hard to prepare for the look. It's an old school T formation with 2 attached tight ends. All 3 of the backs lead Lavatai up through the hole. It's a tough down for Notre Dame. Good call by Newberry, good call by Chestnut, keeping this drive alive.
Lavatai came in with 18 starts at quarterback, by far the most experienced at the position on the roster. Pitches it, and again the extra give. Oh, the ball comes out late. Notre Dame believes they have it. Heidenreich put it on the turf. It was knocked out by Maris Leofau and picked up by Kaiser. Take a look here. Was it inbounds when Kaiser scooped it up? Going to need to see it at the right angle. Extended discussion from the official crew here and I believe Navy is going to catch their break.
Notre Dame player number 24 was out of bounds to recover the fumble. It'll be second down, Navy.
It was the heads-up play by Kaiser to jump on it, but maybe just a half second too late. Take another look.
Talking about catching a break here. The ball clearly comes out here on the contact. There's Jack Kaiser right there. Has not possessed it yet. By the time he does, he's on the line. Leofow chasing, makes the big hit. That right foot goes into the white before he gets possession. I think it's a good call by the officials and a huge break for the Midshipmen.
And what you said is exactly correct. He needed to possess it fully, clearly, before he went out of bounds, and that was such a close bang-bang call. Those are always the difficult ones. Brian Newberry making sure that he pleads his case, but in as many minutes, we'll have a second official review, so they will take another look just to ensure that they are absolutely correct that Jack Kaiser did not possess this football before going out of bounds. Fantastic job by Leofow to knock it loose. Kaiser, the other linebacker, almost a little telepathy between the two to scoop it up.
Tonight. For further review, the ruling on the field stands. It'll be second down, Navy.
Direct delivery from Luke Richmond, and so Navy, just as Notre Dame did, remember it was Estime who put it on the turf earlier in this one, and it went out of bounds, so Notre Dame kept possession. Kaiser thought he had the fumble recovery, and honestly, the lines on this sideline are pretty faint. It's not like your typical extended white chalk. It's really just a singular line down the sideline, but either so, it was plenty enough for the officials to see that Jack Kaiser was out of bounds before he fully possessed that ball. So Navy keeps it on a 2nd and 6 and puts Teska in motion. Lavatai on the keep. Oh, Leofow found him immediately. Greeted him with a bear hug after a gain of 2. And these trio of linebackers, so experienced. Leofow, Bertrand, and Kaiser already making big plays on opening day.
Navy on the ball again here, but take a look at Leofow. Caused the fumble earlier. Really an aggressive, versatile player for Notre Dame. Can play a lot of different spots. You can see that athleticism showing up already in the early part of this ball game.
3rd and 4. Pitch it. Fofana. Nowhere to go. Just deleted in the pile. Hart and Botello were both the first people to get there and create a 4th down opportunity. Is it still 4 down territory now for Navy?
I think it might be. But as we saw last year in this game, Navy had a lot of success running that fullback dive. They had very little success getting to the perimeter. Notre Dame is faster than Navy is. And you saw that there. A lot of blue shirts getting to the ball, knocking them back, creating a 4th and 4. And I agree with Newberry here. You got a punt here. 4th and 1, 4th and 4, different stories.
Notre Dame blocked 7 punts a year ago, led the nation. Breithman gets this one off cleanly. It will be Chris Tyree who will field it, but let it bounce. And takes a slight midshipman bounce just shy of the 20. It'll be down at the 22. 2 drives and 2 touchdowns for Sam Hartman. Both of them have been on the ground to his running backs, but 5 seasons at Wake Forest, one of the most accomplished quarterbacks in all of college football. 110 touchdown passes, 12,967 passing yards coming in, so already now above 13,000 for his career. And really, when he entered the transfer portal, he thought he was going to the NFL all last season. The entire season, he said, I'm focused on getting to the NFL. It wasn't until his brother, who is a grad med student at Gainesville in Florida, decided he was going to be walking around just another day, and someone spotted him. He looks a lot like Sam Hartman. They said, wouldn't that be amazing if he transferred here? And then it got the grinds gearing a little bit, and there he is now in a Notre Dame uniform, swinging it out to Jaden Thomas for a big gain on 1st down across the 40 to the 41. But it's been a long time since Notre Dame has had this level of experience, this level of leadership, this level of success under center. Look at those snaps for Sam Hartman compared to previous starters.
3,516 snaps in college football coming into this ball game. Not many things this guy hasn't seen.
Freshman Jeremiah Love with his first carry of his Notre Dame career. Oh, he spun around, but not before he picks up 11 on 1st down.
Now it's a four-headed monster. Estimate, Payne, Price. Here's Love. Notre Dame mixing the different backs in, and they really think Love has a chance as a player. You see the quickness, you see the speed. He's still just a freshman. But again, it goes back to Notre Dame controlling that line of scrimmage. The plan is to run downhill. It's been awfully good so far.
Love, nearly 6 foot, 197 pounds. Gatorade Player of the Year in Missouri last year. Also the 100-meter champion. Hartman hit as he throws. Doesn't matter. Right on time for Deion Colsey. Colin Ramos got to the QB, but Hartman delivers for 13 more yards.
It's the third time we've seen Sam Hartman see an off corner up top and take advantage of it. Loves throwing these out routes to the field. Really love how Sam Hartman stands in there and delivers a strike. Free rusher hitting him in the back. Stays locked in. Colsey comes back and makes a big play for the Irish.
Play action now on first down. Taking another shot over the middle of the field. It's caught! Touchdown, Notre Dame! Jaden Greathouse, the freshman, perfectly there for Hartman.
We've seen a lot of backs so far. Now we're seeing different receivers. Greathouse, the freshman. Westlake High School, Austin, Texas, the home of Drew Brees. This guy was a big-time high school player. They've been raving about him all training camp long. Put him in the slot and let him run away from it. One more time, Hartman standing in there with pressure all around him, and he delivers a strike. How about Greathouse? First college game. Getting it done for the Irish early on.
Extra point. Good from Schrader. Greathouse, over 4,000 receiving yards in high school. He's 15th in Texas high school football history. But when you've got this guy throwing you the football, you know it's going to be in the perfect spot. Greathouse just had to beat it to the spot, and he gets into the end zone for his first ever Notre Dame catch. The NFL season kicks off Thursday, September 7th, when the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs host the Detroit Lions. The championship banner will be raised, and the 2023 season will begin on NBC and Peacock. It has been a beautiful week here in Dublin in Aviva Stadium. What a sight to start the 2023 college football season. Nightfall here, and Sam Hartman, his first year at Notre Dame, his first touchdown at Notre Dame. That one going to Jaden Greathouse, his new target, the freshman from Austin, as Schrader boots it to the back of the end zone. And this drive will start from the 25 for Navy, now down 3 scores.
It's only Hartman's 111th for his career. This is Greathouse right here. When you run the ball like Notre Dame does, you're going to get an open middle because there's all these guys on the line of scrimmage trying to stop the run. The play action pass comes alive. Greathouse running down the middle of the field with no safety help. Rayon Lane, arguably Navy's best defensive player. He can't keep up with the freshman. Big time throw and catch for the Irish.
Hand off for Teska on first down. And he'll keep the legs churning. Again, Navy's done a pretty good job of success on the ground. Their drives have just stalled. The first one they got deep into Notre Dame territory and failed on 4th and short. The last one they got just near midfield and had to punt it away.
When you run the triple option, you're not built for being down 21-0 in the middle of the second quarter. But you know, Navy just needs to reflect back to last year. They were down 3 scores at halftime. They just kept chipping away. They need to do the same kind of thing, one possession at a time. Go try to get some points. Make it a 21-7 ball game and see what happens next. That has to be where their focus is.
This won't help.
Offense, number 65, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Something that Brian Newberry really said in learning from Ken Niumatalolo, the longtime successful head coach of the Navy Midshipmen, as we take a look at this false start up front. I was right in the middle. That's Lirion Mertezi, the captain, who has really become a leader for this Navy offense. Another handoff to Teska, and he'll come up about 2 yards shy. Brian Newberry has talked about coaching through adversity. That's what he learned more than anything under Ken Niumatalolo. And the other thing he's really emphasized for this team is trying to start quicker. Just 17 combined points in their last 3 season openers. They've been outscored last season, 81-43 in first quarters. And this is really not the dream that he was hoping for in his first game as the head man.
Absolutely not. But you know what they teach more than anything else at the Naval Academy? Mental toughness. These guys know how to handle adversity. They don't blink. Whatever the circumstances are, they fight their way through it.
Lavatai keeps, finds the hole, and he'll slide down just past the 40. They'll mark him down at the 41.
You know, as they say in the Navy, hey, we're going to go out for a 20-mile swim, and we're going to run for 5 miles, and we're going to carry wood 6 miles up this mountain, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. They all say easy day. So these guys right now, 21-0, down to Notre Dame in the middle of the second quarter. Hey, they're not going to blink. They're going to fight their way through it and figure it out like they did last year. That's not good news for the Midshipmen. Lavatai, their quarterback, is down.
No, coming off the torn ACL from week 9 last year against Temple. 19 career starts, including today. He said the mental part of his recovery has been the toughest. Just believing that he could do all the things that he could do before the injury. And yet Brian Newberry believes he's actually moving better now than before he tore his ACL. The good news for Navy is their backup Blake Horvath, despite being inexperienced, got a ton of reps during the spring and even in the fall camp as well, as we take another look at Lavatai sliding down here.
Just at the end of the down, he goes down. Who knows what happened there? Looked like it was pretty smooth. He bounced back up after being down for a minute. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him again. But you said Horvath got a lot of work in training camp. Has some experience, a lot of experience running this triple option, so they have some options if Lavatai can't go.
And instead, it's going to be Xavier Arline, who started the game last year against Notre Dame, threw for 57 yards and a touchdown, ran for 59 and a touchdown, and of course, led a furious comeback bid that saw Navy fall by 3. Well, come on, first down. Fofano had a couple big runs on that first drive, is in there. Right behind him. Arline, the extra pitch. Chapman with the cut and gains 3.
Arline's a great story, Noah. Again, he played in this game last year. Lacrosse player at Navy. He actually got hurt in the spring playing lacrosse and wasn't able to go through spring practice in the early part of camp. But he's also listed as a slot back on this team. The second or third quarterback, but also playing some slot back. So a versatile guy, certainly someone that Newberry has a lot of faith in.
And the quarterback questions were going to be something that stays with this team really all season. They've got a number of options. And Arline and Lavatai, the two most experienced. Fofana looking for space. And he looks like he's about a yard shy of that first down as he continues to just chew up yards on the ground. But we mentioned Lavatai now with 19 career starts, including today. And then you've got Arline, who started 4 games last year, 9 in his career, including the Notre Dame game. But he missed all spring, as you mentioned, because of that injury during the lacrosse season. So now it's the give and take. You get Arline out there. You've got Horvath waiting as an inexperienced but talented youngster. And Teddy Gleaton got a lot of snaps in spring before having to go to summer school.
Yeah, a lot of different options and a lot of different strengths for each of these guys. But the experience of Arline taking precedence here.
1 for 4 on third down so far. Arline pitch it back, slip a tackle, and Heidenreich, who fumbled it earlier, is going to get the first down. Great fight to midfield to move the sticks.
You know, Noah, one of the questions I had for the coaches and for the players all week long was, how does your training as a Naval Academy student, as we look at the play, DJ Brown shooting his gun, Heidenreich makes a miss and gets enough for the first down. Good to see him come back after the fumble earlier. But the thought was, how does your training at the Naval Academy help you individually as a football player and you as a team? And I think this is the case as much as anything else. Just their toughness and their ability to handle some adversity and just keep going. Seeing some glimpses of it right now.
Fofana upended after he picks up 4 on first down. I think that their defensive coordinator, P.J. Volker, says it best. He always tells the guys, who are you when you're tired? And when you think you're tired, guess what? You're not tired. And that's why they've been so great in fourth quarters over the last couple of years.
Yeah, football is easy compared to what these guys are training for. So it certainly relates. And when you get in situations like this, they look at each other and say, hey, let's get back to work. Let's focus on the task at hand. And again, they have to stay locked in on executing this triple option the way they do. They can't be something else. Just go down and drive and see if they can put some points on the board. Good job so
back
far.
in there. 2nd and 6 becomes a first down for Alex Teska. I mean, what's your message as a coach when you go down 21-0? Again, they had a great result last year in the second half. I would assume you draw on that experience?
No doubt. You draw on that experience and you forget about what's happened up to this point. You learn from it, you make the adjustments, and you go forward. The early part of this game ain't coming back. So focus on what we need to do right now. And Notre Dame offensively has kind of taken a page out of Navy's book. They're possessing the ball. They're running the ball. They're long drives. They're playing keep away. So each of these possessions is critical for the Midshipmen.
Another handoff. It'll be a pitch instead as they faked it to Fofana and got it to Chapman on the swing. Oh, wow. Chapman stays on his feet. What a run. He only gains about 4, but it doesn't matter. The extra effort and enthusiasm from his sideline means so much more to the Midshipmen.
I can't be more impressed with these backs from the Naval Academy. One more time, this is Chapman. Geyser shoots his gun, he almost drills him. This guy breaks 6 or 7 tackles there.
Look at the 2 he broke from. Jack Kaiser and J.D. Bertrand are 2 of the best linebackers in the country.
You kidding me? That's great stuff. These guys aren't going away.
2nd and 6, clock continues to wind. Remember, Navy does get the football to start the second half. They defer to begin this game. Pitch in on the outside. Teska's got blockers in front, and a first down and more across the 25. Navy now with 4 first downs on this drive. They had 3 coming in to this drive.
And again, this is a different formation look than they've shown. Receivers over here, but now we just run the option to the wide side of the field. Options the end. Ball comes out quickly. These backs do an excellent job getting on the perimeter and getting themselves north and south. A lot of different backs. They're undersized, but they got quickness and they know how to run this offense.
Something that Notre Dame defensive coordinator Al Golden talked about, that the footwork for his defense is so different for this game alone. They won't use any of the footwork that they use today again this season. Lavatai weaves his way through all the way to the 20, sets up 2nd and 5. Clock continues to wind, under 3 minutes to play as they now get into the red zone. Navy knocking on the door, and Notre Dame really struggled in the red zone last year. 2nd worst red zone defense by opposing scoring percentage. They allowed 94.1% of red zone possessions to end in a score. The only team worse was Rutgers at 95. 12th play of the drive, already spanning 60 yards, all of them on the ground. Fofana, nowhere to go. Wrapped up in the backfield for a loss. Javante Jean-Baptiste, the transfer from Ohio State, expected to make a big impact and did there to set up 3rd and long.
They sure did, and needless to say, Al Golden, Notre Dame's defensive coordinator, when you have woes like you did last year in the red zone, it's been a point of emphasis for this Notre Dame defense, and a good start there. Excellent penetration, controlling the line of scrimmage. Baptiste showing up big time for the Irish.
Navy takes their first time out. We'll step aside. 2 minutes to play in the second. Navy knocking on the door. Coming up on the All-State Halftime Report, Maria, Joshua, Matt, and Michael recap the first half, plus a look ahead to Big Ten Saturday night, starting next week at Penn State. All right, Coach, 3rd and 7 here. Navy 2 of 5 on 3rd down. What's the call?
Yeah, to me, you got to think of this as 4-down territory. I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the football here.
They're 1 of 2 on 4th down, including that pass play early. Lavatai is going to try to keep backpedaling his way back to the 20, and it does set up 4th and manageable. And we'll see if another timeout is taken on either side. And it will be Notre Dame. No. Yes.
1:59, 1:59.
Meanwhile, Joshua Pena is down, the senior right guard from Queen Creek, Arizona. Chandler High School, an excellent program. And it looks like he is up on his feet. Meanwhile, 26 rushes, 1 pass play all game for Navy. And with just under 2 to play, this is a 4th down and a manageable 5. What are you thinking?
To me, you go for it here, and you give yourself a chance to make this a 21-7 ball game. They're actually going to take the 3 here. Notre Dame's not built to come, Navy's not built to come from behind. They're not built for 3rd and long, so they're going to do different kinds of things. They go quarterback draw, and Brian Newberry just didn't think they made enough in that situation. He wants to come away with points.
So it'll be a 37-yard attempt for Evan Warren, the senior. It'll be his 2nd attempt of his career, and this one curves out. No good. Missed it wide to the right. So Navy trying to get on the board and draw a little bit closer. Warren, who was 0 for 1 from deep coming in. This time a little bit shorter, 37-yard attempt. Just couldn't get that right accuracy. See the lights of the city here in Dublin. The Aer Lingus Classic at Aviva Stadium, and some cool temperatures, 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Kevin Plank, founder and executive chairman of Under Armour, well, he's got the gear for it. He's always geared up, ready to roll, and both these teams sponsored by Under Armour. Notre Dame extending their partnership with the brand for another decade plus, and excited Kevin Plank here as Sam Hartman delivers right on target for Chris Tyree over the middle, and a big gain on 1st down gives them more breathing room to the 40.
This will be fun to see Sam Hartman operate in a 2-minute situation. They go empty, and he finds Tyree right in the middle of the defense.
Hand it off. This one going to go to Devin Ford, the Penn State transfer. So you've got 5 different running backs that we've seen, 2 of which have scored touchdowns. Notre Dame has gone on drives of 78, 63, and 81 yards. And new offensive coordinator Jared Parker looking stout in his first half of calling plays. Hartman, another completion. This one goes right back to Ford, a fellow transfer who spun across midfield into Navy territory.
Good look at the poise and composure of Sam Hartman on this drive, and in the pocket right there. Didn't develop right away. He moves, comes down and finds Ford for the completion.
That was Parker in the white hat as Tyree has another catch and run, using that speed as the former running back jumps over the top and gets to the 42. And now Notre Dame will take their first time out, make it their 2nd. So 1:03 to play. Stop the clock there. Again, Navy does get the football to start that 2nd half, but Sam Hartman orchestrating a hurry-up 2-minute type drill down the field. This is what he did at Wake Forest. This is what he did at Winning Time. And it felt like when the game was in the balance, that's when he always made the big play. But with Jared Parker calling the plays the way he has, mixing up that run and the pass and using that run to establish the play action like we've seen, and Sam Hartman bringing all that experience to a relatively inexperienced offense, certainly at the wide receiver and tight end position. We're seeing some magic in this first half in Ireland.
Yeah, we sure are. Tommy Rees was the offensive coordinator here for a number of years at Notre Dame. He went to Alabama. A lot of his offense remains intact, but Jared Parker, Joe Rudolph, the offensive line coach, they put their stamp on this thing. And clearly this team has responded well and helps to have a veteran quarterback like Hartman. It's fun to see Hartman in this environment. Really like to see him operate in this 2-minute drill. Parker's done a good job mixing the plays here as the Irish drives down the field.
Dump it off to Payne, and he had to bobble it to make the catch. Goes right to the ground. So back to the line of scrimmage as Jacob Busick, one of the captains of this Navy defense, got immediate penetration on the QB.
And they're back on the ball. That was that blitz beater we saw earlier to Estime. Just makes the execution there. Now it's 3rd manageable here.
And Notre Dame 3 of 3 on 3rd down tonight. Hartman with time, and that is right to his new favorite target potentially in Jaden Greathouse, who had the long touchdown. He has spread the sugar around. We've seen Tyree, we've seen Deion Colsey, we've seen Greathouse, we've seen Jaden Thomas, and that's what Hartman has done over the course of his career. Clock continues to tick, and he'll clock it. So 27 seconds and the timeout here. Fresh set of downs. We'll get to 2nd and 10. We'll see what Marcus Freeman's team can do as they're knocking on the door of that red zone once again. 29 is what they'll reset the clock to.
Greathouse mature beyond his years for a young guy, for a freshman. He started 61 games down there at Austin Westlake, but to make the big play down the field for the touch, come back, show that he can be an underneath receiver as well. Impressive for a young guy.
Is this the time that Tobias Merriweather gets into the action? 2nd and 10. Hartman unloads, looking end zone, incomplete, and the flag does come in. 2 of them. Chris Tyree was streaking over the middle, matched up with Rayon Lane, and this time it looks like this penalty will stand. Remember, it was Lane who had the 1 flag picked up in the 1st quarter.
Tyree just working in the slot. It's all vertical routes down the field.
Pass interference. Defense, number 18. 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Hartman just wanted to give Tyree a chance. I don't think there's any doubt that Lane's there early on that one. It's a good call by the officials.
So 1st and 10 from the 14.
Plenty of time here. Once you get down in here close, you got the 1 timeout. You can use the boundary and the end zone. They'll have plenty of plays. Line movement by the Navy defensive front, showing pressure and getting out.
Hartman with plenty of time. Pumps. Hartman looking to run. Last second, a little bit behind Payne and incomplete. Navy stays tough. Clock does stop with that incompletion at 17.
Again, you see the experience that Sam Hartman has. They're all up there. They drop out. Ends up being a 2-man rush. He realizes he has time. Let's move. Try to move the defense by scrambling around a little bit. Tries to check the ball down to Payne. Probably lucky that thing got knocked away.
Jordan Sanders was the one who made contact.
Yeah, plenty of time here, and you still got downs.
And now Navy is going to take their 2nd timeout.
The biggest thing you don't want to do is you don't want to have a play that doesn't get you a lot of yards and has the clock moving. You'd have to use your timeout there. So you want to keep the timeout alive. You want to use the boundary. You want to use the end zone. And if you got to use it, you got to use it.
Obviously, you've got a new quarterback in Sam Hartman, and I'm curious, just in your experience, especially when you had a new quarterback in Dak Prescott in Dallas, how much during training camp was working on situational football and things like this, packages designed for moments in the red zone where you've got a 2nd and 10, you've got just 1 timeout and 17 seconds left?
There's no situation that comes up more in football than the 2-minute situation. Before the half or the end of the game, either your offense or your defense is out on the field trying to score points, prevent points, or win the ball game. So it's well practiced, it's well rehearsed, and when you have new people like Hartman, you do it more and more. Marcus Freeman told me they've worked a lot on this, and they look comfortable. The communication looks clean.
Hartman through his progressions, looking end zone. It's caught. Jaden Thomas, touchdown Irish.
Love it. It's an old school red zone route. They call this double post. Jaden Thomas is the outside receiver. He's the best route runner on the team. He'll start. Looks like he goes to the corner and then breaks back across the corner's face. High and firm with the throw. Hartman's on time. He's on the money. When you have those big receivers down in there close, just put the ball up in their face mask. They'll do the rest. Big time drive by Sam Hartman in this Irish offense.
Schrader on for another extra point. It's 28-0, and with that touchdown throw, Sam Hartman ties Colt McCoy with 112 career touchdown passes. We'll be back in 30 from Dublin with Notre Dame up big.
Okay, again.
9-play, 80-yard drive in a minute 42. Notre Dame has touchdown drives on all 4 possessions. They've gone for 78, 63, 81, and 80 yards. And now they lead at 28-0. Sam Hartman dialed in his Notre Dame debut.
He sure is. It started with the running game on the early drives, but the last couple of drives, we've seen a lot of Sam Hartman. And we keep going back to those snaps. Over 3,500 snaps in college football coming into this ball game, and you see that in every aspect of his game. His command at the line of scrimmage, how he moves in the pocket, how he reads defenses, how he checks the ball down when he needs to, and when he gets a chance to make a big play, he cashes in on him. One to Greathouse, and then on this last drive to Jaden Thomas, he's been awfully impressive.
2 touchdowns through the air, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Notre Dame chewing up this Navy defense that was so stout last year. And now we'll see if Navy elects to run a play, likely take a knee as they'll get the second half kickoff to begin the third quarter. And that's exactly what Lavatai does. So Lavatai's knee will bring us to the half. A half controlled thoroughly by the Irish. 4 drives, 4 scores. The score at half, Notre Dame 28, Navy nothing. The All-State halftime report coming up after these messages as Dublin is still fired up about college football.
This first half recap brought to you by Geico.
I'm on a mission now. No, you can't stop me now. I keep it coming now. No, you can't stop me now. I'm on a mission now. I'm on a mission now. I'm gonna crank it loud. They keep it coming now. No, you can't stop me now.
It's easy to Geico.
I'm on a mission now.
Take a look at our college football bulletin. 28-0 Notre Dame lead at the half. It's their largest halftime lead since 2009 when they led 28-0 over Nevada. And the stats speak for themselves. The ground game just menacing for the Irish in that first half. New offensive coordinator Jared Parker doing a great job of mixing in the run with a pass. Audrey Estime got it started with a touchdown. And then Sam Hartman in his first game in an Irish uniform, unblemished, 14 of 18, 196 yards, the 2 touchdowns on the final 2 Notre Dame offensive possessions. It will be Navy to get the football to start this second half after they won the toss, elected to defer to begin the game, and we'll see if the offense can get going. It's not that the offense hasn't been solid. 4 yards per carry on the ground so far, and we'll see if they can find any bit of crack in the Notre Dame defense as we go down to Zora Stevenson.
Navy head coach Brian Newberry said in order to replicate that comeback attempt from a season ago, they're going to have to take some chances and really get Sam Hartman, Notre Dame's quarterback, off balance. I was talking to Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman. He said he's seeing confidence from Sam Hartman, and he really likes his ability to get the offense in positions to execute. On the defensive side, Marcus Freeman says he's seeing some things from Navy that they've never seen before, but they knew coming in that they would have to adjust from the sideline. All
right, Zora. Javon Bouton in there at right guard, in for the injured Joshua Pena. Ty Lavatai stays in at quarterback. And look, Navy has the belief, given what they did in the second half last year, trailed 35-13 in this game at halftime. And a nice pitch goes to Brandon Chapman, but he is tripped up after a short gain of 2. You've got to imagine that Marcus Freeman, who has talked so much about all the lessons he learned from year 1 to year 2, is trying to rely heavily on those at half.
Yeah, no doubt. There are a lot of guys in that locker room at halftime who were on the field against Navy last year when they were up 35-13 at halftime, and then Navy came back and almost won the ball game. So those lessons are vivid for coaches and players alike. And without dwelling on that, wouldn't be surprised if Marcus Freeman reminded his ball club of that. He talks about one play, one life. They're going to focus on one play at a time for these next 30 minutes. Hopefully win this ball game if you're an Irish fan.
Second down and 7. Lavatai. Oh, a dangerous pitch. Teska loses it. Notre Dame was right there. Did they pop on it? They believe they have it, and they do. No, they don't. Navy has it. So J.D. Bertrand came in there. He ends up with the football, but they're going to say Navy was on the initial recovery to keep the football themselves.
Take a look at it one more time. Ball security always an issue when you run this triple option offense. The pitch is high. The ball clearly out. Looks like Lavatai might have it. Hard to tell.
Bertrand was right there on the spot. He missed the game against Navy last year, and you see he rips that ball away.
Hard for official to say that Navy possessed that ball when Bertrand comes out of it, but they get a break here, get this ball snapped, and you keep rolling.
Third down and 9. They're just going to hand it off. Fofana around the edge. Tripped up from behind. Who else but J.D. Bertrand? Came in with 190 career tackles, led the team in back-to-back years, and he sets up 4th down.
J.D. Bertrand's a tackling machine. He's in the middle of your screen. You saw him involved in the fumble on the previous play. He takes a really good angle on Fofana and just chases him down, sideline to sideline. This guy will make tackles 53 to 3 yards wide. That's how wide this football field. This guy is everywhere. He's their leader on defense, really productive player. They're lucky to have him.
Much better start to this second half for Notre Dame after the 4 touchdowns on the first half. Reithman will get it away on the 3 and out. Tyree's going to let it bounce and sail out of bounds. Takes a Notre Dame bounce to the 37. 4 drives in the first half, 4 touchdowns for Notre Dame. They scored on their first 5 drives last year against Navy. We know that the beer is flowing here, and Notre Dame football always on in Dublin. This week, the Guinness Storehouse in Dublin welcomed Notre Dame fans with a special appearance, not just from the Notre Dame fan base, but how about an Irish legend? That's right, Joe Montana in attendance, enjoying some beers, enjoying some Whoa!
How about that?
Look at that?
Kidding me?
That's insane. Tremendous stuff. Well, Joe Montana in attendance at the Guinness storefront, and he's here today as well, and right now standing by with Zora Stevenson.
Joe, what's kept you busy here in Ireland besides Guinness and beer?
Well, Guinness has been such a great host for us. We brought our whole family over here. We've had a great time. The people have been wonderful. The boys and my son-in-law have all been scouting all the pubs. And so we just had a great time. We had our youngest grandson baptized while we were here. Been to the Guinness Storehouse, and we just been having a great time. So, and you can't beat this when they're Irish are winning.
You mentioned your entire family is here. This entire stadium is filled. Why do you think so many people made an effort to be at this game?
Well, there's a special love-hate for Notre Dame. You either love Notre Dame or you hate Notre Dame. And obviously all the people who are in here came a long way to see this game and actually to come to a great country that, has a roots and a history just like Notre Dame does. And so I think they feel the bond, and what a great place to come and a great stadium. And, hey, the weather held off, and we're doing great.
Let's talk some football now. Sam Hartman leading the charge. I mean, he's been all that he's cracked up to be. What have you noticed from him?
Yeah, I think they, in the beginning, they kind of get the running game going, get him looking, and then all of a sudden they turned him loose. And we were sitting up there going, okay, at some point they're going to let him go. And, yeah, it's been great so far. It's been fun to watch. He's got a lot of experience, thrown a lot of touchdowns, and I think it's great for Notre Dame and brings something different to the table for them and kind of gives them a little juice on the offense.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you.
How awesome is that, having Pro Football Hall of Famer and quarterback legend Joe Montana, Joe Cool, and that is a perfect description. If you had a chance to check out Cool Under Pressure, the documentary on Peacock, highly recommend. But I mean, the things that man could do on a football field, just magical. And now he gets to watch as the next generation with Sam Hartman, the transfer from Wake Forest, as he begins his Notre Dame journey this year. There's a man down on the field after 3 rushes to start this drive for 28 yards. Estime chewing up yard by yard. It's Jordan Sanders, the starting linebacker, who's down for Navy. Jason, you had a chance to see Joe as he walked in today. There's an aura that surrounds him. I don't know how to describe it other than that. There's just something different about how he walks around, and the people as they look and see, wait a second, that's the guy, that's the legend.
Yeah, talk about a pro football legend. Nobody did it better than Joe Montana, and then certainly a Notre Dame legend. So when he walks around, he has a presence about him like none other. And talk about poise and composure under pressure. He was all of that. Always played his best in the big moments. It's so much fun to have him on the telecast and have him here in Dublin watching his Notre Dame Fighting Irish get after it against Navy. Special guy, legendary guy. If you're a football fan, you love Joe Montana.
And now Sam Hartman trying to follow in his footsteps and become a Notre Dame legend himself. Touchdowns on each of the first 4 drives. Already deep into Navy territory here on possession number 5. Hartman on play action. Wide open, it's Thomas again. Thomas makes one man miss and scampers out of bounds for a first down. Hartman has just passed Georgia legend Aaron Murray for 17th most passing yards in NCAA history. Tremendous.
Sam Hartman and Jaden Thomas taking advantage of this off coverage, just throwing a quick out, just throwing and catching and making it easy, keeping the game simple, running the football, throwing to the off coverage, driving the ball down the field. Pretty impressive.
Jabron Payne down to the 20. And that's the other part about this game plan that we've seen out of Notre Dame. They've winded so much clock. Again, that new rule, the clock doesn't stop on first downs anymore until the very, very end of the second and fourth quarters. And so it just keeps rolling. They keep draining it down and take all the possession for themselves.
When you can run the football like Notre Dame does and you complete a high percentage of your passes, you're going to keep these drives alive. They got a good formula right now.
Hartman feeling the pressure, evades. Now he's going to run it. No, he's going to throw it. Wow. Wide open, touchdown, second of the day for Jaden Greathouse.
Wow. This is Sam Hartman at his best, moving in the pocket. A free rusher right down the middle. He moves, he keeps his eyes up. He doesn't take the short guy, Estime. Continues to keep his eyes down the field, finds Greathouse, his new favorite target. Just the poise and composure that he has, the ability to keep his eyes up, vision down the field. Played a lot of football showing up here today.
And there's the difference from last year to this year. Navy had 5 sacks in the matchup last year in that second half. It was a big part of that comeback bid where they scored 19 unanswered. This year, they've got a guy to extend the play, evade the rush, find the wide open freshman. Greathouse with a 2-touchdown day. Hartman with his 3rd.
To help Jersey Mike's.
Notre Dame football is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. And by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. Well, on September 8th, the Rugby World Cup will begin. And you see that Ireland Rugby Union, they play over here at Aviva Stadium. Coverage of the Rugby World Cup will begin on Peacock and CNBC. Every single match, more than 100 hours of the 2023 Rugby World Cup will be streamed live on Peacock. That's actually been one of the most fun things we've had to do this week, or not had to, but gotten to do, is learn more about the Irish culture and sport, Gaelic football and hurling, and of course rugby being amongst the top and most profound popularities of all the sports here in Ireland. And we've got a chance to see a little bit of that as Tyler Bradley, the plebe out of Navy, will take this one back. Oh, if he had broken one more across that 20-yard line, he could have potentially taken it even in Notre Dame territory. But a flag is down all the way back at the 11 as they will mark him down right around the 25.
During the return, illegal block in the back, receiving team, number 11. After distance of goal, first down, Navy.
So that'll back it up a little bit as Evan Gibbons is going to be called for the illegal block in the back. Brian Newberry, it's year 1 for him. Look, he's been here for the 4 years as the defensive coordinator, and quite honestly, he has established that defensive culture, that aggressive mindset that he's looking to do on that side of the football. The question now becomes, tough debut so far, still time here to try to build some momentum now moving into week 2 and beyond, which would be a week 2 matchup against Wagner back at home for Navy in Annapolis. But it feels like this is a process, and they had talked about that, not just Brian Newberry, but Grant Chestnut, his offensive coordinator as well. They're going to call this dead as Fofana is pushed backward after he gets forward progress to the 8-yard line. But Brian Newberry, you can feel the team responding to him, the respect that they have for him, and really the organized nature of the practices and everything that he's brought along with that extra edge. It might take some time, but eventually it feels like they're going to get to that finish line.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And Brian Newberry knows that this is a challenge. Notre Dame's better than Navy. They have better players across the board, so you have to be realistic coming into a ball game like this. Navy has to play a certain way to be able to compete with Notre Dame. So Newberry understands that coming in. Good look at Notre Dame coming downhill. A lot of Notre Dame defenders around that football. Been impressed with their perimeter. But Newberry has to be realistic with his expectations of this team at this point. This is a tough opener for them. The biggest thing you look for in a game like this is how you play. Does your team play the way you want them to play for 60 minutes? That's something you can build on.
Notre Dame gets home. Lavatai can't escape. And quickly in the backfield, Joshua Burnham and Gabriel Rubio combined for the sack. First of the day for the Irish.
Again, this is not something that Navy wants to do. Okay, this is a design drop back and sprint out for Navy. This is not something they do a lot of. Rubio's a tough matchup inside. Lavatai had no chance.
Navy still without a yard in the passing game. They're going to have to punt this one all the way deep at the very tip of their end zone. Riley Reithman going to have to try to get it away cleanly. And he does. Notre Dame was so great blocking kicks last year, but this is returnable and short for Tyree. Makes the first man miss. Looking for his blocker, slips down just shy of the 35. And this drive, excellent field position for Sam Hartman and company, will start at the 36-yard line of the Midshipmen. Midway through this third quarter, Notre Dame 5 up, 5 down, looking for more. In Peacock to kick it off, West Virginia and Penn State. It's the premiere of Big Ten Saturday night, next Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, as Notre Dame's offense is operating once again. Estime on that first down carry, rumples forward for 6. Best starting field position for the Irish today. It's been mainly long drives that they've sustained and they've put together, thanks in large part to their offensive line.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's how this game started. They came off the ball. This Notre Dame offensive line is bigger and stronger than this Navy defensive front, and they've knocked them off the ball consistently. They started with Estime on that first drive. They've been wearing them down. We've seen obviously a lot more of Sam Hartman as the game has gone on, but this game is about this Notre Dame Fighting Irish offensive line controlling the line of scrimmage in the run game, and everything else has come off of that.
Right back to Estime, and Estime keeps those legs churning across the 25 down to the 23, and a first down for the Irish. Time now for the progressive game flow. Look at last year against Navy, 81 yards, 3.5 yards per carry. Tonight, already 19 carries, but 7.3 yards per rush, 2 touchdowns. Those were the first 2 scores of the game, and Estime himself, 91 rushing, 22 receiving yards, 113 out of the backfield.
Yeah, this combination of Jared Parker and Joe Rudolph, the offensive line coach, has been pretty impressive here in this first ball game. Combination of the run and the play action pass to take shots worked awfully well for the Irish.
Hartman taking his time, dump it down. Oh, tough catch. Did Estime come down with that? He did. How did he vacuum it in?
He's showing he's more than just a power back here. There's a Hartman at the end of the down, just finding his check down. It's off of Estime's body. And that's a catch.
What a catch.
Flushed it out of the sky. That's 230 pounds doing that right there. Audric Estime showing his athleticism.
The fact that he hung on as he went to the ground. 2nd and 6. Motion Payne back into the backfield. Hartman, dump it, Payne. Oh, devoured. Kyle Jacob came in a blink. Loses yardage, sets up 3rd and long.
They just try to go screen away from the 3 receiver side. Jacob snuffs it out. Kid out of Paramus, New Jersey, coming up and making the play. You'll see these Navy linebackers, they're undersized, but they're quick and explosive. Good example there.
This is what Brian Newberry yearns for. 3rd and long situations where he can get aggressive and get creative, keep the offense on their heels, and really get right after it. Notre Dame's been perfect on 3rd down so far. Play clock winding down. Did they get the timeout? They did. So Notre Dame will take their first timeout of this second half with 4:18 to play in the 3rd quarter. And just outside the red zone from the 24. Time now for a look from above, brought to you by Walmart Plus.
It's been impressive. It's about this offensive line. This is the first play of the game. They pull the guard, they pull the tight end, they pull the receiver, and they hand it to Estime. Double teams at the point of attack. Remove the defensive line off the ball, they hand it to Estime. Now it's Jadarian Price's turn. Knocking this Navy front backwards on a consistent basis. They set the tone on the first drive. They controlled the line of scrimmage the whole ball game. Harry Hiestand was the offensive line coach at Notre Dame here this past year. He's an offensive line coaching legend. He coached a lot of these guys young in their career, and now to have a guy like Joe Rudolph come be their coach, it's a great environment if you're a young offensive lineman, and they're showing you how to do it here. They've been impressive.
Let's see if Navy brings that blitz here on 3rd and long. 7 in a row now for Hartman through the air. Hartman looking for 8. Incomplete. Rayon Lane got a read on it as the intended target, Chris Tyree, was standstill. And now 4th and 11 and potentially a long field goal of about 41 yards.
Tyree settles in the zone, and Rayon Lane coming out of the secondary drives on the ball. Hartman doesn't see him. This is real close to a pick 6 there. Sam Hartman wants that one back.
So just outside of 40 yards for the USF transfer Spencer Schrader, who's been perfect on 5 extra points. And now this field goal is going to curve out. Another one wide right. So 2 field goal attempts, 1 on either side, and both of them will be pushed out. 4:09 to play, 3rd quarter. Notre Dame first possession. They come up empty-handed, leads by 5 scores.
Fly with Aer Lingus from 16 North American cities and touchdown in Ireland, the UK, and Europe. Aer Lingus, you're very welcome.
Aviva Stadium, at practice field right next door. That's where both teams were getting work in basically right when they landed. Turn around, get those walkthroughs. Navy had their bucket hat Thursday that we got to be a part of as Lavatai goes around the edge and has a nice gain on 1st down across the 30-yard line. This Notre Dame defense, Al Golden comes in 2nd year as the defensive coordinator, and I think the thing he loves the most, especially as a longtime linebackers coach, is his 3 backers. That's Maurice Leofau, that's Jack Kaiser, and then that's that man right there, J.D. Bertrand, the captain on this defensive side, came in with 3.5 career sacks, led the team in tackles the last 2 years, but everybody talks about his attention to detail, his desire to get better each and every day, his note-taking ability, copious notes. Every time there's a film session, he's sitting down in his linebacker room. Lavatai still looking for the first passing yards of the game for Navy. He's got a man wide open. It's incomplete. Amin Hassan, for the 2nd time today, had nothing but green grass. Jordan Botelho gets to Lavatai, and it's 3rd and 3.
Noah, 0 passing yards in this game so far. So the play action is going to come alive for you. He has Hassan down the field, but Lavatai gets hit from Botelho on the right-hand side, and he can't get the ball out there. A big-time missed opportunity for these Navy midshipmen. That could have been big.
And the Mids now 2 of 8 on 3rd down. Looking to convert for the 3rd time. They swing it to the outside. Chapman on the extra effort is going to be a yard short. And who's in there? 24 and 8. Bertrand and Leofau.
No, you've been talking about these linebackers. They have shown up. Their ability to sprint from sideline to sideline and then deliver a blow once they get there has been impressive. Leofau forcing fumbles, just creating havoc out there time and time again. And here we go. Navy's going for it on 4th and 1.
They get Khalil Crawford into the game, and it's going to be Fofana on the run up the gut to get the 1st down. So Bertrand, it's the note-taking ability, it's the attention to detail, it's the desire to get better. And one of the things he did, he's been looking at some of the comparisons people have made to him. Sean Lee being one of the big ones. Luke Kuechly is someone he just massively respects. He went out of his way to find phone numbers for both of them, called them, and both gave him incredible amount of time. Luke Kuechly spent 90 minutes on the phone with him. He's got notes for pages and pages. and is taking every bit of knowledge, soaking it up, and trying to be the best version of a sponge that he can be with both those guys.
I had the great fortune to coach Sean Lee for a long time, and he reminds me a lot of Sean Lee. As they go option one more time.
Second hit was a legitimate one. Teska is going to have to go down after a gain of 1. Under 2 minutes to play in this third. Let's go down to Zora.
J.D. Bertrand's dad, Jim, spent his high school years here in Ireland and even won a high school rugby championship on this exact field 42 years ago. J.D. says this game has created a family reunion for the Bertrands. Loved ones from both Ireland and America now have a reason to all be in the same place. And of course, Dad is here today too.
That was awesome stuff. If you see that story, as Lavatai just overthrows his intended target, it was Kabari Williams who looked like he had a step, and Lavatai once again ends up on the ground. But Jim Bertrand just has to be so proud of his son for the way he's played for Notre Dame, but to be back on this exact field after so many years ago, winning a rugby championship and feeling the highest feel and excitement of sport, that's just got to be so special.
Yeah, and you can tell those Bertrand kids were awfully proud of their dad in that picture, and I know his dad's proud of his son because this number 27 is something else. His preparation, attention to detail like none other. Look at this.
Box snap. Fofana gets on it, but a major gain is going to set up 4th and forever and a necessary punt. Nana Osafo-Mensah finally gets to Fofana, and another look at the snap.
Just a miscommunication there. Lavatai's going up to the line of scrimmage. He's going to change the play. Snaps the ball. He's not ready for it. Fofana does a good job saving the day. This is one of those 4th and longs. You got to punt. No chance here, Noah.
Navy just can't find that magic so far that they had in the second half last year. Only 3 points, though, in that third quarter of the game last year. They scored 16 points in the 4th quarter, and an onside kick recovered by Notre Dame eventually sealed it. Fair catch made right at the 40-yard line by Chris Tyree, and that's where Sam Hartman will come right back out onto the field for Notre Dame. Tomorrow on NBC and Peacock, Alex Palou chases down another championship when IndyCar heads to Illinois and Worldwide Technology Raceway. Tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. So the question now becomes, how long will Sam Hartman stay out there as the quarterback for Notre Dame? One thing that was another question mark coming into the season, you knew you had Hartman, but last year with the 2 quarterbacks kind of toggling in and out, you had Buckner start the year, Pine come in when he got hurt, and keep that starting job for the rest of the season as Price just weaves his way through for 7. But if for whatever reason Pine went down last year, there was no experience behind him, and the question was, do you get another transfer after both those guys leave and Buckner goes to Alabama, Pine goes to Arizona State, or do you just ride with Sam Hartman? They got Steve Angeli back. He's the backup. Hartman guiding his team to a big lead after 3.
He certainly is. He's been awfully impressive in every way. Complete command of this Notre Dame offense. His leadership is obvious.
Tremendous start to the season for Notre Dame. They're 1 quarter away from starting at 1-0. The number 13 team in the country have gotten contributions from all over the field, but it all starts with number 10, their captain and starting quarterback, leading them 35-zip. Start of the 4th quarter here in Dublin. Start of the college football season. It is the 154th season of college football, and Notre Dame hoping it's a special one. Last time they started in Dublin, they went all the way to the national championship in 2012. And Sam Hartman under center could be the missing piece that the Irish were looking for. They'll hand it off here on 2nd and 3, but Love is stood up just shy of that 1st down marker at midfield. It'll be 3rd and short. But Hartman's had himself a day in his debut, and looking to cap it off in style here in the final quarter.
You get in this short yardage situation, Notre Dame jumps on the ball, get the ball snapped before Navy's ready.
And Love is going to get the 1st down on this carry. So into Navy territory, down to the 45, and keep things rolling. Coach, what do you think on Hartman so far today, his debut as an Irish quarterback.
He can't be more impressive than he's been in this first ball game. He's had a lot of help, offensive line, controlling the line of scrimmage, the ability to run the football, but he's in complete command. He's very comfortable in this offense. His decision-making has been excellent. He's thrown under duress. He's moved in the pocket and made a lot of big throws down the field. But you can tell his leadership and his calm and composure is pervasive about this offense and throughout this team.
It's time to give to Price. Is going to lose a yard down back to the 46. So we just take a look at his overall body of work of what we've seen today in Dublin.
This has been impressive. Throwing the ball down the field under pressure. He finds great house and man-to-man coverage. They're playing zone. He works the double post to Jaden Thomas. And this is his best play of the day. Avoids the rusher, keeps his eyes up, and one more time finds great house. And you see that veteran experience. He's played a lot of snaps. His pocket presence is elite. His ability to keep his vision down the field has been awfully good. He's had a great night.
Another handoff. This goes back to the freshman Love. Slips a tackle. Love still on his feet. Finally dumped down at the 25.
Hey, Noah, the other big story in this game for me is it might be a five-headed monster at running back for Notre Dame this year. You think about Estime and Payne and Price and Ford, and now you throw Jeremiah Love out there. He's been impressed with the opportunities he's gotten. He's quick, he's fast, he's athletic, but showing a little power there as well. So love how Jared Parker's mixing all the different backs and giving them their opportunities, and each of these guys is showing up.
Price back on the ball. We'll get back to the line of scrimmage. 4 different guys with at least 25 yards on the ground for Notre Dame. Just fantastic stuff led by that offensive line. And Sam Hartman, you know, we talked to him last year, if you remember, he missed that first week for Wake Forest and people weren't sure exactly what it was, what he was recovering from, what the exact diagnosis looked like. He told us he was born with a genetic defect in his thyroid. He's got a scar on his throat, which he jokes saying, I wish it was from some cool bar fight or something, but it's just here instead. But it caused an abscess to grow in his left clavicle, which created shoulder scar tissue and damage, and eventually over years there was a blood clot in one of his ribs, so they had to go in last year as Hartman gets it right to Colsey on the outside. Colsey stays on his feet and takes it in. Touchdown Notre Dame. 4th of the day for Sam Hartman. Ties a Notre Dame record for touchdown passes in his debut, and Colsey with the extra effort on the pitch and catch.
Okay, it's blitz, blitz, and more blitz. You got to have your blitz answers. This is the quick screen. Navy wants to bring pressure. Let's get the ball out. Throw the quick screen to the big guy, Colsey, outside. Receivers blocking for receivers. That's when big plays happen, and Colsey does the rest. Hartman saw it. He got it out. Colsey delivered.
There was some wonder as to whether or not Deion Colsey would be the replacement for Lorenzo Styles, who led Notre Dame wide receivers last year but transferred to Ohio State. Well, that's just an excellent individual effort as Colsey takes it in to extend the lead.
Somewhere in this town.
4 touchdowns through the air for the grad transfer Sam Hartman, tied for the most in a Notre Dame debut with Jack Cohn. Only 5 incompletions, over 250 yards. And to just finish up what we were talking about before.
Finish the rib story,
I mean,
Noah. Come on.
You were interested, weren't you?
I was dying. I was on the edge of my seat.
So he had a blood clot in his rib, and they said they had to take a piece of the top of his rib near his clavicle out so that his blood flow could resume. He said he just felt this weird tightness in his left side. So they went in, they literally sawed off a part of his rib, and he ended up keeping it. Now, the recovery time was several weeks, and he said, I'm going to try to beat it, and eventually made his way back week 2 last year. But his mom decided, I'm going to take that piece of the rib, I'm going to clean off everything that's on there, all the dirt, all the blood, everything else, and make it into a necklace so that Sam can have it forever as a reminder of what he's gone through in the past and what he can go through now moving forward. I mean, look how awesome that is.
Yeah, and he told us he was going to wear it, and if it goes well, he might keep wearing it.
Yeah.
And if he didn't, he's going to put it in the jewelry box back at the house. So I think he's going to keep wearing it.
Well, the other thing that made me laugh that he said, when we brought it up, our producer Stephen Goldberg brought it up, and that was the first thing that he said was, oh, I forgot it. I got to go get it. And my laundry. I got to pick up my laundry, too.
That's exactly right.
Excuse me, Stephen Greenberg. I don't know why I'm in a completely different world. Well, we are here in Dublin. But the other thing that I feel like we need to make sure we get to here, Brian Newberry, we've talked about him as a head coach for this Navy team. And as they try to establish themselves offensively here, as they trail 42-0, it's a culture thing that we've talked about, the aggression that he wants to play with, making things difficult on opponents and just trying to overcome some of those discrepancies in the talent and the size. But one thing that stood out when we met with defensive coordinator for Navy, P.J. Volker, he told us this great story about when he got hired at Kennesaw State along with Newberry. It was this awesome meetup for the first time. Newberry invited he and Volker's wife over for dinner. He ends up cooking them a steak, picking out the rosemary by himself from his own garden, sprinkling it. Volker said it was the best steak he's ever had. Then he goes around, makes guacamole. He said it was the greatest guacamole he's ever had. Then he made him a latte. He said it was like nothing I've ever tasted. And then they go inside. He's looking at all these photos, and he says, wow, where'd you get these? He goes, what do you mean? I took them myself. And his wife, P.J. Volkers, when they left, turned to him and said, I've never met a football coach with that many interests outside of football in my life. It just goes to speak to the type of person he is and a lot of the flavor that he's bringing to this Navy program.
Yeah, Newberry, he's a renaissance man. Most football coaches can't do that. but the challenge, and we touched on it earlier, is the playing field isn't level when Navy plays Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a more talented football team, so Navy has to play a certain style of game. And when Notre Dame goes down the field in the first drive of the game and scores, and the second drive of the game scores, all of a sudden Navy can't play the game they want to play. They're not built to be able to throw the ball and come back. So if you don't control the identity of the football game when you play against a better team, it's going to be tough sledding. So he understands that, and they're going to go back to work. And there's a lot of football for this Navy team to be played. And there's no doubt they're building on the culture that's existed here with Navy for a long time, but there's also some changes that Brian Newberry and his staff are making, and they're excited to see those come alive for them on the field as the season goes forward. But how you play matters, and how you play when the score's tied and when you're down 42 says a lot about who you are and what your culture is. And he's going to be evaluating each guy in every play, and there's no doubt they're going to play all out with the kind of effort that you expect from a Navy football player.
Here's a 3rd down and 2. And this one goes to Teska for a first down. You mentioned the mental toughness, and that's something they pride themselves in, something that everybody who attends the school, you know, Brian Newberry said to us, we have to be extra careful about what we ask of these kids because we know they're not sleeping as much as other college football players around the country with all their other duties, all their classwork, all the extra service that they have to do, and eventually, of course, to serve this country. And what a great job all these young men eventually do. But that's the one thing that they pride themselves on above all else, is the mental toughness, and no matter what the situation is in front of them, they're going to find their way out of it. Goes back to that easy day. How about the easy throw on the first completion of the day? Lavatai finds Chapman in stride for a big gain down to the 15.
Lavatai's been watching Sam Hartman move in that pocket. Free rusher right down the pipe, and he finds a way to get away from him. Again, keeps his eyes up. Finds Chapman down the field, and Chapman finishes it. Certainly the biggest play of the game for Navy.
31-yard completion. Thomas Harper eventually catches up to Chapman, but 1st and 10 from the 15. Pitch it back to Chapman. Trying to make one man miss. He did, and gets inside the 10 before being shoved out of bounds at the 8.
One of the best parts of our job, Noah, as you know, is get a chance to visit with coaches and with players, and everybody is just so impressive. We have these production meetings, we go to practice, and it's so great to know these guys. I'm not so sure I've met a more impressive group than the group of young men that we met at the Naval Academy. These guys are off the charts, and they're going to go on and do some amazing things for our country going forward. And Brian Newberry and his staff, to a man, have all said this is an amazing place to coach because the young men that you get an opportunity to get to know and to be around every single day. It's an impressive group. They ain't going anywhere right here. I'm not so sure they can come back and win this ball game, but they ain't quitting. I know that.
Fofana dragged backward. Jason Onye wraps him up immediately, sets up 3rd and short.
Free guy right in the middle of this Notre Dame defense, Onye. That was one of the issues last year. Some of the unblocked guys kept penetrating into the backfield. He stays along the line of scrimmage and makes the play. Big 3rd down for Navy. They're certainly in 4-down territory here.
Xavier Arline, the other quarterback, was in as a running back, except they're going to pitch it forward on that little shovel pass, and it looks like Teska on the 2nd effort pushed the pile enough. Now, do they rule him down about a half-yard shy? The initial spot looks like it's the case. It's 4th and short.
I'll bet you right now they go to that T formation they've shown in every one of the short yardage situations.
2 of 3 on 4th down today. That only non-conversion was the incomplete pass that Lavataille gave him a ride.
2 tights, 3 backs. It's like the 1940s.
Lavataille's going to keep, and he got it just enough for the 1st down.
If you remember in the playoff game versus the Chargers, Doug Peterson broke this out for Jacksonville. You get in this T formation. All 3 backs are going to lead Lavataille. There are just too many guys there. Howard Cross penetrates, tries to make the play. Not enough. You're going to start seeing more of this T formation in some of the short yardage formations throughout college football, and maybe most importantly in the NFL. Been awfully good for Navy.
So 1st and goal. Play clock dwindling down already. Oh, bad pass. Arline is taken down. Riley Mills gets right to him, and another sack for the Irish.
No, we've been talking about Maris Leofau all day long, chasing the football. He's got Lavataille. There's pressure in front, but Arline has no place to throw the football because Leofau does his job. Watch him right here. He does his job. He stays home. He covers Lavataille. No place to throw it.
Here's the pitch. And this is going to go to Chapman, but nowhere much further as he is stopped in his tracks by Jaden Mickey. And it's 3rd down and goal all the way back at the 13.
And no, one of the most impressive parts of Notre Dame's defense in this ball game has been their perimeter tackling. They have some elite corners outside. Cam Hart, Benjamin Morrison, Jaden Mickey's a young player who's awfully impressive. But each of these guys has stepped up and tackled when the ball gets out on the edges. It's been big for the Irish all day long.
Navy 4 of 13 on 3rd down. They're 2 of 3 on this drive. Arline stays in there. He's got the pitch. He's going to look to throw. He will on the run. Incomplete, out of bounds. It was caught on the run by Clarence Lewis, but 4th and goal upcoming. And now, do they still go for it, looking for the extra points? It looks like right now the offense is going to stay out there.
Yeah, well, first off, Al Golden has done a good job making sure everybody on that Notre Dame defense knows that Arline is a quarterback. So these double passes are going away quickly. Excellent discipline by Notre Dame, staying at home. And it looks like Brian Newberry is going to send that field goal unit out. 4th and goal from the 13 is tough sledding. He wants to get that goose egg off this scoreboard.
So it will be Evan Warren who will get out there. He did miss the field goal earlier in the game. This one going to be from 30 yards out. And timeout will be called. It will go to Navy. First time out of this 2nd half. Just under 4 to play. Notre Dame in complete control here in Ireland. The Irish showing off early this season. So Navy looking for the points. Evan Warren will attempt this from 30 yards out. Senior from Finksburg, Maryland, out of Westminster High School. And this kick is good. So Navy is on the board. There will be no shutout here in Dublin. A 15-play drive results in a 30-yard field goal from Warren to get him up.
hard to put it into words.
Dan Patrick in attendance, seeing the show, been here all week, hanging out. Plenty of guests, including Jason Garrett and Will Ferrell, I believe. Same time, around the same time?
Yeah, we were on there together. It was great.
That's pretty awesome.
We got to the bottom of his training regimen.
Yeah, for Elf, right?
The snowball scene in Elf. I mean, I've been wondering that for years.
What was the verdict?
Oh, he spent a lot of time, he said, with Tom House out in California and working on internal and external rotation. Delivery was really quick. It's the repetition of movement, though.
Oh, I love it. An extension of 4 years with Peacock for Dan Patrick in the show. And here is Steve Angeli in the game for the first time. So that means Sam Hartman's day is done with the 4 touchdown passes. Angeli, the sophomore from Westfield, New Jersey, Bergen Catholic product, like many others in this game. And he'll get his chance after a 12-0 high school record in the 2021 season to get out there and get some real action in the game. And this was something that was big for Notre Dame. They said they want to get their young quarterbacks legitimate game experience anytime they can this season.
Coming from a backup quarterback, these opportunities, they're invaluable. It's so hard to get game reps. Good to see Angeli getting an opportunity out there.
And landed off. That has been a successful tactic so far. He's got Estime in there, who will pick up 5 more. Notre Dame, in all likelihood, going to move to 1-0, barring anything absolutely insane. So what's coming up? Tennessee State back in South Bend next week at NC State. But the big ones here, September 23rd, number 3 Ohio State. Then you've got October 14th against number 6 USC. And of course, November 4th at number 9 Clemson. I'm also going to add in November 18th at home against Wake Forest for the quote-unquote revenge against Sam Hartman.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And if you're a viewer and a Notre Dame fan, you're circling those dates. But if you're a coach or a player for Notre Dame, all Marcus Freeman talks about is win today. One play, one life. And the failures and the lessons learned from those failures are vivid in your life. And you can just harken back to week 1 last year. They play Ohio State. It's a tough loss. Then they go back to Notre Dame Stadium and they lose to Marshall. So anybody who was on that football team, player and coach alike, you learn those lessons. So they ain't looking ahead. They're focusing on what they need to do against Eddie George's Tennessee State team next week.
No doubt. Second timeout taken by Navy. 2:25 remaining. We'll finish up the schedule conversation when we come back. Notre Dame up big here in Ireland. Second year at the helm for Marcus Freeman, and at 37 years old, he feels like he's already experienced so much as his Notre Dame team looks well on their way to a 1-0 start this year, something they failed to do last season. In fact, an 0-2 start, which completely changed the entire conversation surrounding the team. Another carry, and this one's going to be short of the first down by Audric Estime. And so we'll see what Notre Dame elects to do with time winding down here. You know, we looked at the schedule before we stepped aside, and actually before that thought, they're going to go for it here on 4th down and short. We'll see what Steve Angeli has in the bag. Handoff, and did he get there? Estime is going to be given just enough for the first down. So you see those big games on the schedule. You talked about it, Jason, of the one play, one life mentality. I loved what you asked Marcus Freeman when we met with him. You said, look, that's all great, and that's very true. But at the same time, you've got to have that glimmer of hope of, hey, we're still competing for a national championship. I thought his answer was perfect.
Yeah, no doubt. You're always blending that in, and that's part of the art of motivating your football team. And you know, the biggest challenge that he feels like when you're at a program like Notre Dame, there's a lot of hype that comes around this program, a lot of attention that comes with it. There's a lot of scrutiny that comes with it. So for he and his coaches, it's so important to keep their players focused on what they need to do each day. And he talked about, hey, on a Wednesday, you might get a text about, hey, good luck this weekend. And he's like, hey, it's all about Wednesday's practice. And that's a mantra and a mentality that you have to have as a head coach, and every so often you artfully sneak in there the idea of what this program's all about and where we're going and what our aspirations are, but then you bring everybody right back to the task at hand. And you know, he's a master motivator. He relates so well with his football team, and I think he's done a really good job of that. And again, learning the lessons from last year. They talked national championship. They got tripped up by Marshall, so he said, I'm not going down that road again. We're going to do it a different way, and his team has responded.
Tyree put it on the deck, jumped right back on it. Prior to that, it was Rico Flores, the freshman from the West Coast, who had his first career catch. But Brian Newberry, this is a lesson he can take with him as well as he gears up for their second game against Wagner. But this was a game in Dublin, third meeting between these two in Ireland, that was dominated start to finish by the number 13 team in the country. Notre Dame sets the tone early, and they run away with this one. 42-3, the final score in Sam Hartman's debut. A lot of encouraging signs.
And you said it, Noah, one of the concerns that Marcus Freeman had as you travel over here on Thursday, is the team going to sleepwalk through this game? There's a time change, all of that. That was not an issue in this ball game. Right from the get-go, 12-play drive for a touchdown. They were dominant from play one and kept it going for 60 minutes. They're a better team than Navy by a long shot, and they showed it here today. A good start for the Irish.
Dominant victory from the very beginning. And Zora Stevenson standing by with Marcus Freeman.
Coach, Sam Hartman's first game in green, my goodness, how did he command the offense today?
I mean, he did a really good job. And more than the execution of the plays and the receivers and throwing the ball, he got the offense into the right protections, into the right calls, and he was able to identify things that he was seeing defensively. And so I'm really proud of the way he executed today.
Not a defense. They only allow 3 points. What does it take to get that done?
I thought the adjustments they made on the sideline was tremendous. There were some things we hadn't seen on film, and we watched everything we could. So then to be able to communicate, get it adjusted on the sideline, a huge credit to the coaches and the players for being able to adapt.
You're 1-0. What's the importance of starting the season in this way overseas?
Listen, we've talked about it. You get 12 guaranteed opportunities, and our job is to make sure, man, every opportunity we get, we want to play at our full potential. And so I'm proud of the way we've started. It's special to be here in Dublin, Ireland. Special to be with these fans that are part of Notre Dame Nation, and we're going to enjoy this and then get back home.
See you next week.
All right, thank you.
Now both these teams will go and sing each other's alma mater. Tradition started in 2005 in this matchup as a sign of the ultimate respect and part of Notre Dame trying to repay their debts from World War II when Navy helped them as they were struggling financially. Outstanding scene, and just a reminder of what college football is all about, what these matchups and the history behind them is all about. And despite what happened on the field, to put your differences aside at the end of the day, come together like that, I think is very special to see.
And Noah, you touched on it, this long-standing relationship between Navy and Notre Dame, and how supportive Navy was of Notre Dame during World War II when the university was struggling, and they sent a group of Navy midshipmen out there to keep Notre Dame afloat at that time. And Notre Dame said, for as long as you guys want a rivalry, we're going to do it every year. And it's been one of the best in college football. Notre Dame has been dominant. But it is what college football is all about, as we see Sam Hartman raising the shillelagh.
He's feeling
How about
good.
that?
Feeling good after his debut with 4 touchdown passes. And these two teams have vowed to play each year as a result of that historical bond. Big smile from Marcus Freeman, and rightfully so. Every facet of the game buttoned up. Just the polar opposite of the start of last season. And when he talks about everything that he's learned as a head coach in the short time he's been a head coach, you saw the result of it today. And Jason, you keep bringing up the one play, one life mentality. It felt like they were very much present focused. And part of that might be Sam Hartman, but a lot of it has to do with the man in charge.
No doubt. You learn as you go. There's nothing more valuable than experience. And Marcus Freeman has a year under his belt, and he's really put his stamp on this program, and his team has responded. And the great late Ernie Zampese, one of my mentors, used to say, hey, you want to be a great quarterback coach? Get yourself a great quarterback. And he has one in Sam Hartman.
And Sam is standing by with Zora as we speak.
Sam, we're on TV now. We're waving to his mom. Okay, you throw 4 touchdown passes in your Notre Dame debut. How'd you get to a point where you're so confident with a new group?
I mean, I think it starts with really Dublin, Ireland welcoming us like they have. I mean, look at all these people. This is an incredible atmosphere, incredible stadium, incredible event. And then it's the coaches. They prepared us all week. I mean, we've been preparing since the spring for this game. We knew we had a really tough challenge ahead, and then it's the team. Like, from day one, I showed up in January. They accepted me. They appreciated me coming, and we went out and executed our plan, made our plays work, and did what we did.
You came to Notre Dame because you wanted to be a part of a pro-style offense. What was it like playing in that system for the first time in a game?
It was great. It really starts up front. You know, you have 2 of the best tackles in the country, unbelievable center, 2 guards that are young that came out and played a great first game. Then outside, those guys they made plays when they needed to. And then you look at the tight end room, they did a great job handling a lot of pressure on the outside. Running backs, I mean, I underestimate the load. I've never seen somebody run the ball like he runs the ball. It was great to have that in our arsenal.
What's the story of the thing that's in your hand? Hold it up, and we need an explanation.
We got a shillelagh gifted to us from I think it's like the King of Dublin. One of the people of Dublin gave it to us, so we're going to carry it out. It's kind of our new tradition. We're going to start with this team. Each year we're going to get a new one. It's a exciting tradition. Our scout team player of the week will carry it throughout every game, every home game, every away game. But I have it, so it's used for a weapon, but I won't be using it. It just looks cool right now.
Amazing to bring that home with a win. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, thank you. Go Irish.
Well, I'm not sure if it was given by a king in Dublin, but there's certainly a new king on campus, and that's Sam Hartman. Nearly a perfect debut for number 10 in the Navy, and you couldn't quite ask for much more if you're Marcus Freeman, if you're Notre Dame on both sides of the football. The best thing that stood out right there in his answers with Zora, and this is something that stood out when we talked to him in the production meetings this week, he's always giving credit to everybody else. Talked about Audrey Estime, talked about the tight end room, talked about the wide receivers, the offensive line. He feels the team sport aspect. That's what a leader does, but it's got to start with the quarterback, and he proved it in a big way today.
Yeah, he's been so good on the field, but maybe his best trait is just a natural leader. And when you talk to him, you feel that, and you said it. You know, there's a lot of attention coming to him as the Notre Dame quarterback, and he's giving it out as quickly as he can. Talked about every unit on that offense, talked about the defense, the coaches, everybody else but him. He looked awfully comfortable carrying that shillelagh around, and Notre Dame has themselves a quarterback that can lead them and hopefully allow them to compete with some of the big boys of college football and make a big run at this thing.
Well, he knows he can't give it up quite yet because it's going to a scout team member of the week from this point on. So this is pretty much it for Sam Hartman and the Shillelagh. You mentioned the defense. That leads us right to our Above the Rest, presented by Jersey Mike's Subs, because you can't do it alone. It's got to be both sides of the football.
Yeah, and the defense was dominant. They get challenged by this triple option. You see these linebackers running to the football. This is Bertrand sideline to sideline. This is Leofow. Look at these guys run. Closing holes, tackling, a lot of hats to the football. And when Navy tried to throw it, there was pressure there as well. Dominant performance by Al Golden's defense. A much better performance than they had last year against Navy, something they learned from, something they built on. That's been a common theme with this Notre Dame Irish football program, and certainly off to a great start today here in Dublin. 3
matchups in Dublin between these two teams, 3 dominant victories for Notre Dame. They get it done once again. This one, the final score, it's all Irish, 42-3. They head back home next week. For Stephen Greenberg, Tim Nelson, for Jason Garrett, Zora Stevenson, Tara McCauley, No Eagle saying so long as we head back to Maria in studio.
All right, appreciate it, Noah.